Welcome to Surviving Youth Sports Podcast, where we dive into real stories behind the wins, the losses, and the lessons that come with raising, coaching, and being young athletes. I'm your host, Rhett Parker, lifelong coach, dad, and believer that sports are about far more than just the scoreboard. Each week, we explore honest perspectives, real experiences, and the moments that shape who we become through the game. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share the show with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's get into it.
Welcome back. Part 2 with Ian Ritchie starts right now.
In the moment, it does. It means everything, right? So you,
right.
I mean, and that's the thing. Whether you're 8 years old or 15 years old, in that moment, to people and to me at time, it means everything, right? So like I get it, but the reality is like, you know, nobody remembers that game.
You're getting me, like now I'm starting to get some memories that pop up. You know, was it Martin Luther King tournament? He threw against the Arkansas Sticks. Mm-hmm. And this is a great story from a coach's perspective for me. We're playing the Arkansas Sticks. It's the perfect game, Martin Luther King tournament, you know, and you know, there's an argument either way. You should play in January, not play in January, whatever. We had a pretty strict pitch count, 50 to 60 pitches, you know, whoever you are. And what was he, a freshman? I think he was a freshman.
He was a freshman.
Okay. And we're beating the Sticks, who are loaded. Like, they are loaded. And I want to say he got through like 5. I want to say he got through 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah.
And I'm getting heat from my coaches, and I feel it. They're like, there's no way you can pull him. Like, and I'm like, and I step out of the dugout, and I remember coming to you and going, I'm pulling him.
Yeah.
And because it hit us, it's like our 6th game of the weekend. He played shortstop some. Like, we're not trying to ruin arms. Win or lose, ain't going to make a difference in my life. Would be great to win.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lead, and I'm like, God, if we can't finish this game out anyways, like, what difference does it make? And you're like, thank you. And I remember you looked at me and you're like, I'm headed out to the outfield now. Because you already knew the parents are going to come after you next. Because I'm in the dugout.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we take him out. And man, somebody, I don't know who it was. I can't believe they took him out. I kind of looked. I couldn't. Yeah. They were pissed. Yeah. And, you know, then we couldn't make a play in the field. Like, and we ended up losing. And we probably had a 4 or 5 run lead. And I'm like, man, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't sink in. Even the coaches, that game doesn't matter. It doesn't.
At that
I
time,
do.
it meant the world. Of course,
100%.
I mean, of course, because I'm dad. You were the coach. I can
100%.
Like I can tell you who they pulled and what happened. I mean, I got
right.
But look, the thing is. You do what's best for the kids. You do what's right by the kids with pitch counts. You know, if you win, you win. It's just good to be on a good stage against good teams and play the best kids and the best teams and get out of a bubble and see what's out there. Because if you never challenge yourself repeatedly, here's the thing. If I'm a pitcher and I go face a really good team once and they've never seen me, I should shove it up on them. Period. Mm-hmm. They've never seen me. They don't know what I throw. They don't know how hard I throw. They don't know what pitches I throw. I should get them.
Especially with the wood bat. You
know what?
No.
Who wins the 3rd time and the 4th time and the 5th time that they've seen me? Do I win? Do I make the adjustments? I think that's the part that gets lost in translation because, you know, the one thing I've learned from JR being where he is now and some of the stuff we talk about is so next level for me to hear, but it's really about, you know, things you say about Corbin and other guys, which is they've now adjusted to him. He's adjusting back. They're adjusting to that adjustment. He's now adjusting back, right? And this constant adjustment happens. And so if a good team sees you once and you shove it on them, cool. By the 4th time they've seen you, they've adjusted. Were you able to adjust back? Were you able to throw other pitches in different counts? Were you able to throw in reverse? And I think that's the part that gets lost in a lot of scouting stuff that I think is really important, which is why to go out and play the Arizona Sticks and other teams like that, I think is really, really good for kids to do as often as they can.
And I'm going to use kind of a very unhealthy, dirty word here because I think this is so important to talk about.
Yeah.
Rankings. And I'll say this, and this is probably an unpopular opinion. I sort of think we need them at a very specific age, sort of.
Yeah.
they mean nothing. And I might be a part of the minority of that, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that like it's not cool to be ranked. But like I just have a hard time with them because it's not a crystal ball that your kid is going to be good. And I will tell you and tell people listening, you had a tough time with rankings throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I want to
in theory.
100%. In theory, but we need to dive into this because, man, it is not a healthy thing for parents and players a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, I think there's confusion to start. So here, I'll start with this. I think people need to be very clear when they put out rankings on the front end, whether those are based off what I see today, or if it's based on a projection I see that somebody in 5 years, when everybody looks back at my list and goes, oh my God, Ian, you were so right? Like, so there's this difference, okay? And I think that's an enormous disconnect. And there was one parent I had a conversation with specifically when our kids were sophomores in high school. He was livid, okay? Livid. And he couldn't understand. Couldn't get it. Didn't understand. Hey, this kid's, 90 miles an hour, right? But, man, he literally sprays balls, spraying stuff everywhere. Right. How in God's name is he ranked higher than my son who has X number of complete games or this batting average or whatever it is? And it's like, well, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if it's based on what they see today. I don't know if it's what they think, and then you come to find out, well, 5 years from now, I think this kid ultimately is going to be the better player. He's got a very whippy arm. He's got this or he's got that. Yeah. And you go, okay, so it's not fair for a parent to think you're comparing my kid today on what you think. You're comparing my kid today on what you think he's going to be in 5 years. Well, there's your crystal ball. Right?
Yeah, but sometimes they do that and sometimes they don't. There's no I mean, it's like the college football playoff. There's no set way that the committee decides to move people up and down. Right. There's no way.
It's difficult, and here's the thing is I do not begrudge anyone that does rankings because I think it's, to be honest, sometimes it can serve a good purpose and a valuable purpose for kids to validate an enormous amount of work they've put in. It can validate them for, hey, I was ranked 23rd last year and I was my fourth pitcher on the team and I busted my ass all year. I'm now top 10. Like, it in theory gives them a goal, even though that goal is not in their control. It gives them some sort of validation for things they hit. Now, the bad side of that is
it's arbitrary.
Is the kids that fall in rankings that aren't ranked where they want, and their parents get very upset and don't understand it, and it might be based on lots of different things. And so my thing is, man, is I had a difficult time with it. I didn't, and I had it easy, like I said.
Hold on, louder for the people in the back. You had a hard time with rankings, and your son was a first-round pick.
Yeah,
and I just want that to sink in. Like,
it's hard. It's difficult because, one, as a parent, you want people to see in your kid what you see, and every parent sees what they want to see in theory. That's one. Okay. Two, there's a sense on a lot of them that it's pay to play. Okay, and I would say that's a fair assessment on some and an unfair assessment on others. I think there's people, especially in the Northwest, in the marketplace, that spend a lot of time, because the Northwest is a very difficult area to scout. It
very
is
difficult.
Everybody's spread out. Everybody's all over. You're 3 hours from this person, 2 hours from this. I mean, to get to Bainbridge Island, North Kitsap, we got Dawson over there, we got Trey, we got Will, we got some guys over in Kitsap County. It's not easy.
Yeah, and the scouts are just love driving
Love it. It's a great spend of their time. So, so like, there's a lot that goes into lots of stuff, with that. And like I said, but there's people that hustle, that you see at a lot of stuff. You may not agree with their rankings, but you got to respect the fact that they're at a lot of games. I
agree with that. I agree with that.
And if someone's going to spend the time to put their eyes on everybody and not rank people by video, then like, to be honest, or by stat, then I feel at least a little bit better about the effort they're putting in. That's what I'll say. But I'm going to tell you a story really fast, and this might surprise a lot of people. So JR was always ranked really high, and and that's why I say we had it easy. But when you're ranked really high, there's only one way to go: down. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have it easy, you're still trying to question, and well, my kid's getting better, but you guys all keep dropping him. Well, that doesn't make sense. He's throwing harder, his pitches are better, the shakes are better, he's playing better competition. Now you guys are all dropping him. Okay? Help me that makes sense. Okay, so there was a specific time when JR played in the PG All-American game. Okay? And, he made some comments to some people. They thought that the PG All-American game and PG overall, just the rankings, was totally unfair. And he thought it was very unfair to kids in the Northwest. And he said, kids in the Northwest can't afford to pay the freight. It's expensive. To come out here and play in the circuit, which we can talk about the canes and the circuit, but to go out there and play on that kind of stuff. And to pay the freight to be able to go do that and to play in enough perfect game tournaments to keep a good ranking. It's not fair. He voiced it to some people, not like in a terrible way. He just said, I think it's unfair. I don't think the Northwest gets enough credit. There's no action up there. Now there's a PG presence to some extent, right? But it wasn't fair, okay? Well, whatever. He stopped following him on social media. Okay, big deal. You got a 17-year-old kid, he stops following somebody on social media, a huge corporation, whatever. Within 24 hours, they stopped following him on social media, okay? Within within a few weeks or a month or pretty reasonably close, he was dropped in the rankings, right? And there's a correlation. Look, and I get it. Yes. Could he, have maybe expressed it better? Could he have done something better? And of course, look, I get it. Hey, well, hey, look, he didn't go play this PG tournament that was in Mobile, Alabama, on such and such date, and all these other guys did. And so we were able to see them again. Oh, okay.
Whatever.
So the guy from Bainbridge Island, Washington, who's made it to also couldn't make it to Mobile, Alabama. Okay. So how many kids can make it to this stuff in the Northwest? You go to the WWBA. There's a couple teams that make it out there. Okay, cool. Maybe one more. But then what? There's a whole circuit of games that they spend all their time on.
But it doesn't correlate to the draft. And let me interject this, because this is the truth too. And I'm not saying it's all bad. I don't agree with the healthiness of it when we have people that worry so much about it, and there's a ton of them, locally, regionally, nationally, and it's not a healthy thing. But I brought up the college football playoffs because, as you well know, and anyone that's ever played for me, especially in the fall, I am a massive Notre Dame football fan. Okay, and family from dad was born in South Bend, grandpa went there. It's in the blood. Okay. The same thing happened at that level, which is the same thing happened. Hey man, Miami should have been in. Alabama and Oklahoma should not have been in, but people I watched it and I'm like, okay, well, I'll never watch it again now because it doesn't mean anything. Right. But I tuned in because where's Notre Dame going to be? But some of it is for ratings. Some of it's so that you buy the subscription. Some of it's so that you look at it and can talk about it. And other people are talking about it. And then they can talk about it on social media or podcast or whatever. And it's not all negative, but man, it's not healthy. And the biggest thing I'll say, because he's a 17-year-old kid, okay? He's getting serious. I mean, they gave him millions of dollars to throw a ball out of high school, okay? A 14-year-old, I can't get behind it. I just can't. You want to put a watch list out to it, like you just said, to acknowledge, I'm all in on it. And listen, I'm not the end-all be-all. I'm not. It's one opinion, and we're going to have differing opinions on the show, and that's what we want. We want differing opinions. And I do want to commend people that maybe I don't even agree with, but if they're out there trying to help grow the game, I'm not going to knock you for that. I might not agree with you, and you might not agree with me, and that's okay.
Well, and that's what rankings are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Is that nobody agrees.
Correct.
So I mean,
And
and that's what creates the discussion. The social media, all the stuff that happens is based on that.
but I want to just put Major League Draft, because we use baseball as a sport. College recruiting, those people don't care. They don't.
Conversations that I had with some of our scouts, and look, we have great area scouts in the Northwest.
Great.
A lot of them are really good scouts. They do a good job because they try and get to know the families a little bit, and I've kept a good relationship with a lot of them, which I cherish, to be honest. I appreciate it because I respect what they're doing, and whether they liked my kid, didn't like my kid, whatever. I'm sure it was mixed. And to be honest, I don't even know. Like, there you go. For example, I don't know which scouts liked them, which didn't, whatever. But like, we have a good group of scouts in the Northwest, and they would tell me all the time, like, dude, none of that makes any sense. No, none of it matters. No one cares. Nobody thinks this guy's over that guy. Nobody thinks this person's over that person. And
maybe 2 do and 28 don't.
There you go.
And that's okay.
There you go. That's exactly right. It literally is opinion based thing, and the rankings. Like, I'll just say one more thing about it. Like, when Jared was 13, 14 years old, again, he quote had it easy, because he was ranked high. And so there wasn't a lot to complain about. But that being said, like, he just tried to push himself all the time. And even when he was ranked number 1 all the time, he was never afraid to fail. He was never afraid to, like you said, go and throw change-ups in the middle of a huge game at the USA baseball thing where he's working on a new grip. He's going to throw 15 times.
Right.
He just is. And he was a tinkerer, and it paid off because it really helped him learn to spin the ball, manipulate the ball, and that kind of stuff. And so I would just leave the rankings thing to this. It is 10 times more important for your child, softball, baseball, to work on things in game and worry about improving those specific things than it is, I didn't look good, but the guy from such and such or the gal from such and such that does rankings was there, and now it's going to hurt. I was only 86 on the gun today, but the rankings guy was there, and I should have been 90, right? Like, it's all right. Like, work on the things that are going to make you better, because when your pitches are better, you'll be a much better pitcher, and you'll get to where you want to be. And that's, same with hitting. Like, they may see you go 0 for 4 at a game, and you're like, I can't believe we went 0 for 4. The so-and-so guy was here. And you're like, but you hit 3 barrels, dude.
Yeah,
you hit
you're
3
good.
Barrels. Like, we all...
You're good.
Like, you're okay, my guy. That dude hit 2 dinkers and an infield single, and he's over there celebrating because that same scout was there, and you think that's a success.
So I want this one story to be told because, and we're gonna get this guy on the podcast, and maybe it's a co-host situation with some of the other dads of people, because and I was there actually in Colorado. With my oldest son, who I believe was about 7 at the time, Roman Anthony. I want people to hear this story before we end this episode.
So Jared played on the Canes national team, and on that team was the class of 22, and this is actually quite fascinating.
Loaded.
So the class of 22 from the 16 and 17U Canes that moved up, had 32 kids that are now in the major leagues. And there's 3 that have made their debuts already at age 22 or younger, and 29 others that are in the minor leagues. And it's a fascinating story. And one of them was Roman. And Jared and Roman became very close. Roman's dad and I became very close at all the games. He and I would hang out. And we'd sit in these games, and Roman's dad would make the joke of, after the game was over, all the black hats would swarm everybody, the black hats being the Boris agents. The black hats would swarm all the kids, and nobody would talk to Roman. And nobody would talk to Roman. And he would get very frustrated, even though he was happier with his own agent. It just frustrated him, right? And so we'd laugh about it, whatever. And Tony is a great guy. And every game, every trip, all these things we were on together. Roman and Jared were on the same path, same ride. Cole Young was on the team, South Stewart when they were younger. Brock Porter, I could go on. Anyway, so Roman's dad, we were at Colorado. We're at the PG All-American game. And, it's tough. You're facing great pitching.
Cool.
You're trying to show everything. Great, you hit a single. Cool. Did you hit a 450-foot bomb?
Right.
So the game's progressing, and and Roman struck out a couple times. And, he's 0 for 2, 2 Ks. Comes up again, strikes out, and I can feel it, Tony. Like,
I could feel Tony.
Pitched his innings.
One inning.
Right? Yeah,
Yep.
Right through his inning, he's out.
2 punch outs, 1 hit, and you're like, velo was good. I was down there. You were like roaming around the stadium. This is at Coors Field, by the way. I'm down there, and my son's yelling at him as he's coming off the field, and you're like, oh, whew, all right, we're good.
I'm not in the stress box, somebody else's turn.
Right.
So, man, I felt bad because Roman is an amazingly great player. Of all the guys in our Canes team, I told everybody that would listen, he was our most underrated guy. We're down a run. Roman's hitting a 2-run bomb, right? So Tony's just getting really frustrated. Roman comes up a third time. Strikes out. Yeah. You know, Tony had been getting blown up all afternoon by his other son, right? Like, how's it going? What's going on? So he tells Lori, his wife, he says, I'm out of here. Can't take it anymore. I gotta go call him back, right? I'm gonna go call him back. I'm gonna update him. You know, if I livid, but for his son, just so frustrated, and because again, he's wearing it. Struck out 3 times. Okay. So Roman comes up again in the 9th.
Didn't think he was going to hit again. I left too. I'm watching this at my hotel room, by the way.
Right. Oh. So Roman he struck out a 3rd time in the 7th inning, and so Tony didn't think he was coming up again, or he wouldn't have left. Yeah. You know, in his defense in any way. So he leaves. He's outside, but he's very upset. And I don't blame him, and I'm upset for him too, and I feel bad for Roman. He goes outside, he's calling his son. All of a sudden, the 9th inning comes up, and Roman comes up. And I don't remember who was pitching, and I'm glad I don't remember because I don't want to say their name. The guy was throwing like
100 though. I remember that. Yeah.
And Roman hit a ball.
Boom.
To right center field. That was the furthest hit ball I had ever seen on the circuit.
Yep.
It was probably 440 feet.
Yep.
And an absolute nuke. And we're all going crazy. All the parents of Canes, but we're all going nuts. There's a lot of Canes guys there. We're all going crazy. And I'm looking around, and Tony's nowhere to be seen. And then all of a sudden, I turn. He's walking back in, and he's just. I'm like, dude, Roman just hit a tank. He's like, what? What happened? He missed it. Yeah. He missed that moment. And it wasn't because he quit on his kid. It wasn't he gave up on him or anything like that.
Frustrated.
He was frustrated. He was going to take that time. He didn't think his kid was going to get up again, so he goes out to go. But he missed that moment, and he was so frustrated because you get so emotional, caught up for your child because you want them to be successful. And in this moment, Roman is chasing a dream, man. Yeah. Like, we're at the PG All-American game. It's all the best guys. He struck out 4 times.
And this is, and we got to wrap this up, but this is 4 years ago, guys. The guy just signed a $100 million contract. Like
that 200.
There you go. Yeah. But it's okay. Like, everything's gonna be okay. So as we wrap this up, you know, amazing story. We're gonna get Tony on. I tell you that right now.
Tony 2 times.
Yeah. So give us your short and sweet best advice. Could be a player, could be a parent, could be a coach about youth sports. Biggest takeaway.
Bust your ass. Like, work harder than everybody else. Period. Just outwork everybody. It doesn't, like you said earlier, it doesn't mean you can't take days off. Doesn't mean you can't take but outwork everybody. It's not that difficult. And, you know, if you take 30 minutes every day of taking ground balls, 30 minutes every single day, and I would go to the turf and I'd sit on the 10-yard line and I'd have JR at the back of the end zone, and I would hammer balls in 30 minutes every single day, side to side, charge it, this, that, short hops, whatever. That's it. In 30 minutes a day, small things make a massive difference. And just to be honest, as a parent, show your child that you're fully invested in their dream, right? To the level that they want, right? Yep. And you're invested in their dream, and you will do what it takes to make their dream come true, and you will invest your time with them to do that. And I think that those are the most core memories I have, is being on the road, traveling with JR. You know, we all talk about, oh, God, youth sports, 8 a.m. game in Auburn, in the rain, in the morning.
But you miss it. You miss it.
Dude. You miss it. And when it's gone, it's gone.
Oh,
it's gone. When it's gone, it's over, dude. And you're like, what do I do? And I talked to a guy yesterday who has a kid who's a senior in high school, and this is his last spring baseball, and he's done playing. Yeah. And he doesn't know what he's going to do with himself. You know what he said? I might coach Little League. Like, I literally don't know what to do with myself. I just give you that as an example, as a parting. When it's over, it's over. Enjoy every minute. even when it's pouring rain at an 8 a.m. game in Puyallup or Auburn at some dumpy field, right? In a consolation bracket game on Sunday morning we got stuck in.
Well,
enjoy it, embrace it, because when it's over, dude, you'll never get it again, and you'll miss those days.
and I'm starting to get hit with that. To add to that, my 12U team I've had since they were 9, basically community kids from Camas where we live.
Yep.
And we had a big bonding thing this weekend, and it kind of hit me. I was like, this is it, because I'm not coaching next year. I'll help train, but I'm not. This will be the last time I have this group, because I'm going back to my youngest kid and going to help my middle son a little bit more too. So I hear you, and man, it's like therapy for me. Yeah. This podcast, because I'm soaking everything that you're saying in, and we really appreciate having you on. And it might not be the last time we have you on for some capacity, because I just think there's a wealth of knowledge there in a lot of different ways, but we really appreciate you coming on and joining us. And for the rest of us, we're just keep surviving youth sports.
Keep surviving youth sports, man. And I would just say one thing: everybody makes mistakes on the journey. Everybody. You try and do what you think is best, and everybody has a different path based on how their child is. And I would just say support them in whatever they decide they want to do and how hard they want to attack their sport. And when it's over and they want it to be over, whether that's their sophomore year of high school or after they graduate, like, it's okay, right? Like, it's emotional, but it's difficult because you feel like you put that effort into and it's time. But I just tell you, just support them no matter what happens, and make those car ride home better than some of the ones that JR and I had.
I love it. Well, we appreciate it, Ian.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on Surviving Youth Sports. Remember, the scoreboard may tell a different story, but the snacks, the car rides, and the questionable coaching decisions, that's where the real memories and the real survival skills come from. Please share, subscribe, and follow us.